All right, Ken is joining us now with local defense attorney Gene Nichols, who was with us live during our coverage and has read the indictment. Ken?
Yeah, Gene, as we look at this, so let's start first with maybe former President Trump's comments at the airport. What did we hear there? Any forecast of how his team is going to handle these charges in federal court?
Well, I think the first thing to focus on, as we talked about earlier, is that the court was going to instruct him and say, be careful, do not affect the administration of justice, do not make any comments about jurors. And as we see, he gave somewhat of a very bland statement that we have heard from him before about being persecuted, but he did not go to the depth that we have seen him go before and take shots, make comments about the court, about the jurors. Clearly, he gave his political speech, but at the same time, obeyed the rules by the court, which is what he needs to be doing.
Yeah, so he characterized it sad day for America, and he said he's innocent of these charges all along as we walk through this. Let's go back to about 4 o'clock today, because just an hour and a half ago, something that you and I and Tarek talked about, this is unprecedented what's happened today.
Well, it is. I mean, we have the indictment of a former president now for the third time within the last couple of months.
Yeah,
and
4 months, 3 indictments.
And we have over 70 some odd counts with potentially, as we hear, more that may come out of the state of Georgia. What we do know is when this case proceeds to trial, we know we're going to have testimony from the former Vice President of the United States. We know we're going to have testimony from Mr. Barr, who we have heard from on multiple occasions. We are going to have testimony from, we know that Tommy Tuberville is involved in this, and we have seen that his name, not his name, but at least the messages to him. We're going to have senators. We're going to have congresspeople. We're going to have, it will be unprecedented, not only the fact that we have a former president standing trial, but also the witness list is just going to be, it's really hard to fathom what this trial is going to be like and how they're even going to be able to accomplish it.
So today's hearing was this first appearance, and so formally the president, not taken out in handcuffs, but was arrested today. Is that correct?
He sure was. And the only reason why this didn't seem to be as much as it was in Miami is because in the federal system, he's already in the system. We know that he's already been arrested by the federal government because of his case in South Florida. So for that reason, mugshots have been taken, fingerprints have been taken, arrest has been done down there. So yes, when he went into that courthouse the same way as in South Florida, he was under arrest. I don't think he was handcuffed. I don't think he went through what you would typically call a booking process, because again, they had already completed all of those steps. And once you're in the federal system, especially just from a couple months ago, there's no reason to really do it again. But yes, the same way an individual who is not a former president of the United States, who gets indicted by the federal government and has to turn themselves in, who gets arrested and has to appear at a first appearance arraignment hearing, he went through all of those steps today.
Those of us who don't live in the judicial system like you do and representing clients, how much of this is really kind of normal for the charges that we've seen in this indictment, and how much of this is, wow, it's got to be different because of who has been charged?
Well, I think once President Trump got in the door through the tunnel, everything that really happened was somewhat normal. Before getting there with all of the security, obviously not normal. Leaving with the security, obviously not normal. The instructions that the court had to give him, a little different, because typically a judge does not have to instruct a defendant, do not obstruct justice, do not affect my jurors, do not have an impact on this case with your words, because that's typically unnecessary, and it obviously is necessary in this case because President Trump has already spoken prior to his hearing today about the judge, about potential jurors. So it was a little atypical that we had to have the judge do that, but grand scheme, 30, 45 minutes in and out, very typical.
Yeah. Gene Nichols, appreciate it. Local defense attorney, appreciate your insights into what happened today. Tarek?